welcome to Review the Light. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Nitecore Precise Series P36. But really quick, before we get into it, if you haven't yet, go ahead and click this link right up here to follow me on YouTube, keep up to date with my latest videos. This one right up here to follow me on Facebook. I post various links and pictures and things. And once I finish the full review for the P36, I'll put all the data like runtime graphs, beam shots, output charts, all that sort of great stuff in the full review, and that'll be in the link in the description as soon as I get it done. So, the P36, new light by Nitecore, it's quite a bit different than a lot of standard high output lights, high-end lights, so I'm excited to do this review today. You can see it claims 2,000 lumens. It uses the new MTG2 emitter by Cree, and we'll go into more detail on that in a second. We'll be testing its lumen claims as well, and if you want to take a look at any more of the sides of the box or anything, I'm not going to take time to describe them. You can feel free to pause the video and take a closer look if you like. So the P36 comes in Nitecore's kind of standard packaging, the yellow and black box with the specs on it, and then on the inside we've got the light packaged in this kind of plastic pack. It comes with a holster and the little accessories here, a lanyard, a spare O-ring, a spare rubber tail cap boot. Those tend to wear out if you use the light a lot over time, so they give you some extras there. The warranty card and the instruction manual are all in there, and of course the light itself. There we go. So really quick, I will show you how it fits in the holster. Let's see. It looks like it fits head up easily enough. It's got a Velcro flap over the light there, and then in the back you can clip something to this little loop, or you have a Velcro flap that you can use to attach the holster to something, or a sewn-in flap that you can use to attach it more permanently. It's got the Nitecore logo right there. That's what that looks like. Looks like you can fit it in upside down as well. I'll give that a shot in case you like to have your lights head down. Yep, fits just fine head down also. So there's the holster. Okay, so the P36, like I said, it uses the MTG2 emitter, the Cree emitter. If you know much about high-end emitters nowadays, the MTG2 is one of the highest output emitters you can get, and it sacrifices a little bit of efficiency on that compared to, say, your XML family of lights or XPG family. So it's much larger, the die size is much larger, it's got a much bigger emitting surface, so that means that it's going to take a larger reflector to get it focused as well as a smaller die like the XML or XPG. So with the same size reflector, say if you put an XML in the same size reflector here, it would be a lot more focused, versus the MTG2 that this has means that it's going to be a little bit floodier. And also you can see the reflector is kind of an orange peel texture. That's also going to help smooth out the beam, make it a little bit floodier at the cost of a little bit of throw. So this is going to be a very high output light at the cost of a little bit of efficiency and a little bit of throw. So you can also see the stainless steel bezel ring here. That helps protect the light in case you drop it, and also just keeps it from getting banged up or chipped on the end or anything like that. You can see the heat dissipation fins here. At 2,000 lumens from a single emitter, there's going to be a lot of heat generated, and that heat needs to get moved out into the air. These heat dissipation fins increase the surface area, means you're going to be able to move heat into the air faster and keep the light cool for longer. I believe the P36 also claims that it has a temperature regulator on the inside that will automatically turn down the brightness if the light starts to overheat. So that's good to preserve the light over time. So you can see here on the flat sections of the body, we've got the Nitecore logo on one side, the model number on the other here. On either side of the flat section, you can see it's kind of ribbed here. That'll make it a little bit easier to keep your grip on the light. And in the back, you can see the kind of squared off tail. It's got holes here in the tail sections for you to loop that lanyard through if you want. It does do a tail stand. It's not extremely stable because of the shape of those 2 points there at the rear. It can do it, and you see I can tap it a little bit and it'll just wobble, but it will fall over. It's not extremely stable, but it is possible if you've got a flat surface and it's not going to get bumped around. And you can see here in the rear, this is where the light's controlled. You've got kind of a standard mechanical tail switch, and then you've also got this rotary switch here, which is the really interesting part of the P36. And then also these two, you can see they're clear little circles right there. I'll show you how those light up in a minute to indicate the battery level also. So it opens up here between the head and the body. Let's have a look at those threads. They seem to be square cut threads. If you can tell by the focus on there, yeah, those are square cut threads. They're anodized, they've been greased. Those are going to hold up a long time. Those are well made threads. You can see here in the body, this is where the light's going to be making an electrical connection with the battery carrier here. And then you can also see the battery carrier. This is kind of a fun battery carrier design. The batteries have to be inserted correctly into the battery carrier with the negative terminal of the battery on the spring and the positive terminal here. And if you can tell, that positive contact is a little bit recessed into the plastic of the battery carrier, which is kind of a standard Nitecore practice to have this mechanical reverse polarity protection built in. That means that your battery, if you insert it incorrectly in here, it just won't work. It won't let the voltage flow backwards. It won't let the current flow backwards through the circuit, so you're going to protect your battery and protect your light that way. The drawback is that you have to use button top batteries. So if you have 18650 batteries that are flat tops, they won't work in most Nitecore lights, and this light included. So I'll go ahead and load up the batteries there so you can see what that looks like. As I mentioned, this is a plastic battery carrier, so it's not as sturdy as, say, if it were a metal battery carrier or if there were just slots milled into the body of the light, but it is more lightweight that way, so that's the trade-off that you have there. You can also see that each end of the battery carrier has these kind of two larger springs and then one smaller one in the middle. The way they've got that set up is so that one polarity, I don't know which is which, I haven't tested it, but one positive or negative polarity is going to be at the outer terminals, and then the other one is going to be on that inner terminal, and that's the same on both ends of the light, so you can insert your battery carrier in either direction, basically. This is the moral of that story there. Let me get it put back together. Now I'll direct your attention to the rear here. You see we've got a series of blinkings, and I might have missed part of it. It did 3 blinks there. So what it looks like is my batteries are going to need to be recharged soon. I think it indicated that I'm at 3 volts. So these are a little bit low. I'll have to get those recharged. Now what it'll do is give a, well, actually I'll have to check the manual in case. I don't know if it does the sequence of blinks. Let's see. Excuse me a moment while I read the manual. Some of Nitecore's lights use the exact voltage, and some just do an estimate. And I'll check for you really quick so I don't steer you wrong on which is which here. Alright, so it looks like 3 blinks means that the power is fairly high, and it's not going to give me an exact voltage reading this time. I apologize for that. So looks like 3 blinks means you've got good battery voltage, and you can refer to your manual to see what the blinks all mean there. Now the light is turned on and off with this kind of standard mechanical tail switch with the N on it there, and it's a forward click switch, so if you press it halfway, the light turns on and momentarily, and then it'll just turn off again when you release. And if you press it all the way, it'll turn on until you click the button again. And then this tail switch here, this rotary switch, you can hear it kind of clicks. So it's not an infinitely variable light, it's got kind of different positions. Here, I'll turn it on here. So now I've got the light on. It looks like I'm in one of the lower modes. And as I rotate the switch to the right, that would decrease the brightness, but I'm already at the minimum brightness, it looks like. So I'll rotate it back to the left, and each click is increasing the brightness, as you can see. I apologize for kind of the blue tint on my camera. That's just to do the white balance settings. You'll see the real tint when I take it outside. So it looks like I'm at the maximum brightness here. As you can tell, it's pretty bright, and you'll get a better look at how bright that is when we go outside with it. But the wheel continues to freely rotate. It doesn't stop in any position. So all you're ever doing, you're not selecting certain brightness levels with this switch. You're just increasing or decreasing through the levels. So I can keep rotating that way as long as I want. It won't do anything else. If I start turning back to the right, then it clicks through until I get to the lowest position. Then again, I just can freely rotate and it won't do anything because I'm already at the minimum output. Then the other thing you can do with this rotary switch is if you push the rotary switch in like that, we go into strobe mode, and then when you're in the strobe mode or the flashy modes, you begin to, if you rotate the switch, then you cycle through the different flashy modes. So that was a fast strobe. This looks like kind of a slow strobe here. And then I rotate it again to the left. Looks like a slightly faster strobe. And now we've got a beacon mode. Now this looks like an SOS mode. And I'm back to the fast strobe. And then you can also rotate the switch back in the other direction. So if I go back the other direction, here I am back at the SOS mode. And then back to the beacon, to the kind of medium strobe, and the slow strobe, and the fast strobe. So you can go back and forth in the cycle of flashy modes by doing left and right there. And then to get back to your regular modes, you just push that switch again and you're back at regular brightness outputs. And it does remember the brightness that you choose. So say I leave it in one of the middle settings, I turn the light off and back on, it remembers that. And the other option you have is while the light is off, if I turn it to the left and quickly turn it on, it takes me to, well, there we go. It takes me to the maximum brightness. If I turn it to the right, it takes you to the minimum brightness. And then the last feature is that clicking it while it's off and holding it does a strobe mode. So stick around for just a second and we will take it outside and give it a shot in the dark. Hello and welcome back to Review the Light. We've got the Nitecore P36 out here in the dark. We're going to fire it up and give it a shot. So here it goes. And this is pretty accurate to the color that I see. A very good neutral warm beam, very pleasant for the eye, good for telling the color of the thing that you're looking at. And I apologize, my camera's going to go out of focus here every once in a while. I have to have it on autofocus instead of a manual focus because I'm going to be changing distances at the things I'm looking at. But here you can see it's got a pretty good flood pattern with it has a hot spot in the middle, but a very smooth transition from the hot spot out into the spill. I'll pan around and you can get a look at some other things here. There's some trees down there. Take a look at. This is what the beam looks like outside. I'll dial the brightness down a little bit. Well, I'll wait till we focus. Okay. I'll dial it down bit by bit so you can get an idea. And I'm still on. You can see I've still got light. This is enough light. You won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can see the ground in front of me easily enough with this. This would be good for just, you know, if you just want to walk without drawing a lot of attention or have the light be singing or ruin your night vision. It's good for that. And then also you've got the instant access to strobe there. I'm going to crank the brightness back up. Refocus, there we go. So this is the Nitecore P36. Thanks for checking it out at Review the Light. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Facebook by clicking those links. And also, if you want to see the full review, get any more details about the light, all the run times, beam shots, that kind of stuff will be in the full review. Check that out in the link in the description. Thanks and have a great night.